Hi, Darin Mangum here, the PPM attorney. Thanks for watching my videos. Again, this is a series of videos that of common questions that I get as a securities attorney when I'm drafting private placement memoranda for clients. And so one question that I get sometimes is, what kind of exhibits do I need to attach to my PPM? Obviously, there's the PPM itself, right, that has all the disclosures, material disclosures that are required for to satisfy the anti-fraud provisions of the securities rules. But one question I get is, well, what kind of exhibits do I attach? Do I attach a copy of the operating agreement? Do I attach, the question is, the answer to that is it sort of depends on the offering, right? Obviously, if you're doing an equity offering, like you're selling membership interests in an LLC, you'll want to include a copy of the operating agreement because the investors are subscribing to the operating agreement by being an investor, right? Plus any kind of resolutions that may exist in connection with the securities that you're creating. Like if you have a resolution creating a preferred class of equity, preferred class of stock, preferred class of membership interest, then those documents would need to be part of the exhibit. Financial statements always need to be included in a PPM, right? And obviously, for the most part, depending on how much money you're raising, sometimes the type of legal entity that you have, obviously that would be a part of what would be whether the financial statements need to be audited or not. And so, but there's specific rules about that we can talk about. You can feel free to give me a call. But if you're doing a debt offering, on the other hand, unless it's a convertible debt, sometimes if it's a convertible debt, then yeah, you'd still want to have a copy of the operating agreement attached. But if it's just straight debt, you don't like just promissory notes, you just are issuing straight debt. Not necessarily you don't have to have a copy of the operating agreement, but certainly financial statements, those need to be attached. If you're doing a real estate project, right, usually an exhibit includes, depending on the structure of the offering, obviously equity versus debt, but usually if it's a property specific type offering, you'd want to have an exhibit that describes the real estate, the property that you're acquiring or you're developing, right? And so that's usually an exhibit. And sometimes if you're doing like an acquisition fund or something like that, where you're acquiring another company, you'd have other material agreements attached to the exhibit. And so not always do you have to attach everything, though. Sometimes you can incorporate things by reference and make them available upon request, especially when you're talking about like a technology play where some of the intellectual property is proprietary. Certainly you may want to consider, before you put that, not attaching that to the PPM, but certainly making it available by exhibit, right? So, or not making it by exhibit, you would make it available upon request, but you would obviously request them to sign an NDA before you'd release that information, non-disclosure, non-circumvent type agreement. So anyway, so that is, those are some examples of what exhibits are attached to the, to a PPM. Obviously, sometimes exhibits make it a lot more thicker, a lot more paperwork to read. But obviously, if you don't have to include the PPM, the material as an exhibit, certainly it's, sometimes again, the option is there to reference the document, but say, hey, it's available upon request, and that way, you're not putting it out there to the investor. And obviously, if the investor is made aware that a document is available, then they obviously can request to see a copy of it, or you can certainly provide a summary of the document itself. So anyway, so those are just some examples of what exhibits need to be attached. Again, critical for financial statements always to be attached, even if you're just setting up a brand new fund, right? There's zeros, right? Go ahead and put those zeros in the PPM. or in the financial statements, and that way there's you've been provided full and fair disclosure to those investors. So anyway, again, feel free to give me a call anytime. Happy to answer any questions you have about exhibits or about private placement memoranda, securities offerings in general. You can always reach me on my cell phone, 801-787-9072. Or you can shoot me an email at darin@mangumlaw.net or darin@theppmattorney.com. PPM Attorney, that's me. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching my videos. Hopefully these are helpful, and look forward to seeing you, hopefully becoming your attorney. And even if not, hope you're successful in raising capital. Thank you.